Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new to Corey's Snail Diary. We talk about books, snails, and everything in between. Today, I have a long-awaited video for you guys, so let's get right into it. Now you guys, it has taken me a few months to be able to fully give you how I feel for this one. So, I will say, I have officially done it. I have finished the Fourth Wing series. I'm here to talk about it now. Listen, I gave you guys a breakdown review of ACOTAR, so here we are as I read the Fourth Wing series, not as a fantasy reader. I'm not going to hold the book up the entire time, sorry. Let's get right into this. Before we get deep into things, I just want to put a disclaimer here. Reminder, this book, because I am reviewing the entire series, does feature spoilers. I would not be able to talk about book 3 without talking about book 1, so we're gonna have spoilers in this review. If you have not read all 3 books, I highly suggest clicking this video as a watch later and maybe even liking it too while you're there. And then coming back after you're done with the series. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I did kind of a very in-depth breakdown on book 1 in one of my... So what's really funny is right now I'm just like that one Kelly from The Office meme. I talk a lot.
Actually, that's a really good idea, Kelly.
What did I say? I talk a lot, so I've learned to just tune myself out.
So I just realized, of course, that I have breakdowns for all 3 videos on my page, I think. So of course I realize now that I have breakdowns for Fourth Wing and Iron Flame already on my page. So the only one that I haven't spoken about on my page is Onyx Storm, which I have a lot to say about Onyx Storm. So let's start off with Fourth Wing. So in Fourth Wing, you meet our main character, Violet, who, listen, her last name is kind of a hot commodity there because her mom is one of the generals. So everybody sees her last name and they immediately think that she's like the shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody's like, oh my god, Violet Sorrengail, blah, 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 whatever. Basically, Violet is in this weird tug of war where her dad wanted her to be a scribe. Mom was like, no, you're joining the writer's quadrant. Like, that's just what you're doing. So it's this weird tug of war, and something happened to her father, so she took her mom's side of things, and she decided to join the writer's quadrant. Now, we see multiple different hardships for her throughout this book. We see the Parafit. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. We see the Parafit, which is basically like, you know what? I'm going to put myself explaining it from my first breakdown of this book right here.
When she first shows up and they have to go across this like terrible bridge thing, in my brain it's like a bridge basically. Like, okay, this is a weird comparison, but you know the ice bridge that they have in Shark Boy and Lava Girl? I imagine it being like that, but it's like a more treacherous type of bridge. I think if they said like 40% of people don't make it past the bridge, so when she makes it past the bridge, she's like, ooh, like, guys, like, what do you mean I can't be a writer? I just made it past the bridge.
And then they like go on to be within this school, right? And they learn more about what being a writer is all about. And then there's even a thing called, I think it's the Gauntlet, where they have to do, like, they have so many different things that they have to overcome before they actually become a writer for the threshing. And at the threshing is where the dragons decide if they want to be mated to anybody that, not like mated, but like paired to anybody there. And she ends up in this crazy situation where she's like, oh my god, that is the biggest dragon out of everyone here. What could he possibly be doing here? And he basically decides to bond with her. But she also sees this other dragon that's like off to the side and is young and is very helpless, and someone's trying to literally kill it, which is so bad, and that is not what they do. So she stands up for that dragon, and as she is going to tell them the big dragon's name, she also, in her head, because bonded dragons can talk in their head with their bonded rider, hears the other dragon's name. So it's this crazy thing that she ends up bonded to 2 dragons, which you think that's going to be like her biggest struggle, and it is just not at all whatsoever. So being bonded to her dragon Terran makes it so that she is now also bonded to this beautiful man Exaden, because his dragon Sajal is like, I guess, in a romantic relationship with Terran. So this makes it so that literally Violet and Exaden cannot be far apart from each other for very long, because then the dragons start to feel it too. Obviously, since dragons and riders can like feel each other's emotions and all of that, like these 2 dragons that are clearly very interested in each other and are literally in a relationship are also going to have their bonded riders be like that as well. So you begin to see a romantic relationship begin between Exaden and Violet, but you're like, hold on, I feel like he's not telling us everything. Also, he's a 3rd year, and at the beginning of this, her sister was like, do not get involved with him. Oh, I also forgot to mention, at the beginning of the book, he purposely said to her, he's like, I am here to kill you. Your mom killed my dad, I'm gonna kill you. That is a weird way of saying I want to sleep with you, but okay, cool. Just to get it on, basically, near the middle of the book. And then near the end of her 1st year comes another thing. I don't remember what it's called. It's like the games of something games. But she's sent off with Exaden and all of his friends, and they end up in a situation where they were like, this is not a drill. This is not a drill at all whatsoever. And they all fight and battle it out and like, you know, all that stuff. And then Violet wakes up and she's like, wait, where am I? What is going on right now? Next thing you know, she finds out that her brother that she thought was dead for 6 years is alive. Guys, I was literally screaming at the end of that book. I needed a book between the 2 of them, because I was like, I am just so mad that this poor girl had to go through all 6 stages of grief over her brother that she thought was dead, and now he's not. So yeah, I took a little break after that one, but then I came back for Iron Flame, which I don't know if it's because I was reading it on my iPad from the library or what was going on, but this one I felt like dragged. In my review of the first book, I did say that a portion of it did feel like it dragged, and like I kind of missed the working of what the last battle was supposed to be, and that's why I was confused. But I'm telling you, the second book, I could not get into it. I was so excited to read it, and I could not get into it. I felt like there was such a big lull, and like the speed of this book was just not as quick as the first one, to the point where I seriously considered DNFing it, which that takes a lot for me to do. I'm gonna keep going at it, basically. So what happens is it's the next year, their 2nd years now, I think. Not 100% sure. I'll never be 100% sure. And Exaden gets sent off to be a part of the military elsewhere. Which you're like, okay, so you made me love this like super crazy, super hot, like enemies to lovers dude, and now you're just gonna send him away on me? As if I know the man myself. I don't, obviously. Because of that, we don't see much of their dynamic, and like I've explained a million times before, I'm more of a romance than a fantasy reader, so I often felt very bored not having anything related to him. But I will say, you kind of, in this book, get to see more of a relationship between her and her scribe best friend, Jessica, which is great. I love that. I'm going to call them the peanut gallery here, because I feel like Violet has a lot of friends that are just names, and I didn't really get, like, crazy good feelings for them, but, like, I knew that they were there. Like, she meets her best friend Rhiannon on the parapet in the first book, and we keep going along with Rhiannon, but then there's Rhiannon, there's Rhydock, there's Sawyer, there's Imogen. Like, I just don't, like, they're all, like, I know who they are and who they are friends with, and, like, I know that Sawyer eventually has a thing for Jessica, but if you asked me to identify them in a room of people, I don't think I could. So, middle of Iron Flame, everything is literally just, like, at a lull. Like, I'm telling you, they're just going through their normal freaking lives, it feels like, and the dragons are like can't go 2 weeks without seeing each other. So eventually Violet and Xaden see each other. I looked at my notes. I forgot to mention the whole thing. So Violet finds out that her brother is secretly alive because he's a part of the rebellion, which Xaden is also a part of. And yeah, so basically this entire book is like political cover-ups, moral gray zones, like it's pretty wild, and like her keeping this giant secret that she's actually kind of going against everything. Ending literally of the first book is Welcome to the Rebellion. This book is like more dark, and it's less like getting into the school and like school competition, and more like we are preparing for a literal war. The whole first portion of this book is Violet literally going insane because Xaden knew about literally everything, including her brother being alive after she thought he was dead for 6 years. And also, she now realizes just how much of a catalyst her mother is to everything. She doesn't believe that her mother could agree with any of these morals. So she's like, why is my mother a part of this? Why is my mother such a big factor? I don't understand. So when Violet's like back in school doing her thing and everything, she's under like 24/7 watch by like the teachers, other students, everything like that, because everyone's suspicious about exactly what happened on the battlefield. Her and the other people who are known, I'm saying known because like she knows they're part of the rebellion, but no one else knows, if that makes sense. The people that are known to be part of the rebellion are kind of walking a tightrope every single day, because if they were to slip up at all whatsoever, it would be really bad. During this time is when the actual training becomes bizarre. Like, we knew Violet to be a character that could break very easily, and at the beginning of the book, she's so like strong mentally and physically that this individual comes in and strategically breaks like every bone in her body for fun, and they make like the intensity of everything they do like go skyrocketing. So during this time, that certain teacher gets Violet in an interrogation room, and it's really, really crazy. So as we know from the book before, Dane Atos is someone who, his signet, which is like his ability that his dragon bonded with him, gave him, is the ability to see memories when he touches someone on the cheek. And he did that to Violet before sending her off to the deadly freaking games in the first book. And she's mad, right? First book, she doesn't have a signet really. She doesn't know what's going on. She gets from Adarna, her other dragon, she gets the ability to pause time briefly. From her other dragon, she doesn't get anything until, I think, end of first book, beginning of second. And that is lightning wielding, which there's not been a lightning wielder in so long. So this teacher literally has her in an interrogation room, and he's interrogating her about why she was stealing a diary of someone who helped create the college and all the wards around the college. Mind you, she's stealing it so that the rebellion can ward out the bad stuff, the venin and stuff like that. The venin is like the bad people. I don't really know how to describe it. I see them as like the guys with the red eyes in Twilight. Basically, they're looking to see how to put up wards on that island so they can keep other people safe. Now, this teacher sees directly through it, and he has Dane touch her cheek to see what actually happened. And Dane, in that moment, knows that he is a part of the wrong side. The wrong side. And because Violet was given an elixir where she cannot speak to her dragon to save her, Xaden is like, hold on, what's going on? Because they torture her for multiple days. Xaden's like, hold on, what's going on here? He comes in, he kicks everybody's ass, like kicks it, like he's, and mind you, during this time, him and Violet are like very like rocky weather, because she's like, I don't know, like I can't trust you. Okay, my light died mid-filming, and I also still don't know like how to describe what happened in this book at all. Which is so bad. I know, it's so bad, but I'm just gonna go on to the next one because I don't know what happened in that third book. but I was just not vibing with it at all whatsoever. I'm at the second one. So then we have our third book, Onyx Storm. At the end of the second book, like all hell breaks loose basically, and once again, Violet is like almost dead. Like literally almost dead, to the point where Xaden trades his soul to be Venom to be able to save her, which is very problematic because anybody who throughout this entire series, anybody who is Venom gets killed immediately. So that's not good at all whatsoever. So in this book, so book 2 was about like getting the wards up and seeing what all the ancestors did to get the wards up. Book 3 is about traveling and finding out what Adarna's dragon type, where they are, what they're doing now, why they're not in their area, all of the above. Now, I will say this was probably the most exciting out of all of them, and it's really funny because half the time Xaden and Violet once again are not together. At this point, Xaden can't be around Violet because the moment that he loses control, he literally will summon the Venom army who's going to kill everybody. So he can't be around Violet at all whatsoever. But at some points, they're like still sleeping in the same bed, they're still seeing each other, and he even gets a spot back on the council, which is pretty crazy. Their solution to this is he becomes a professor, which is interesting because, as we know, he's graduated and she is not. She's still part of the Writers' Quadrant. At this point, other people know of the rebellion. Mira knows. Mira had this hilarious moment where she's like, our brother's alive and nobody told me. Are you kidding me? Rhiannon knows. Sawyer knows. Rydick. Basically, at the end of the second book, everybody who wanted to join the rebellion was allowed to join and come to their separate country. Everybody is now there, and they're more or less having a heyday. Not like a heyday, but like they're having their own school format there, and they're also bringing in these other types of riders. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, I'm sorry in advance. They're called the Gryphons. They're like a different type of dragon. They don't go as fast as normal dragons. And these Gryphons, their riders come and join the Writers' Quadrant from Basgath, I think it's called. That's problematic because, of course, one of the people in the Gryphons sector is Xaden's ex-girlfriend, who her signet is being able to literally manipulate other people's minds. So Violet has a couple of moments of some like internal warfare about her and Xaden. So Xaden becomes a professor, and he literally cannot be near Violet at all whatsoever outside of actually being in class. When the higher up people of the rebellion decide to let them go and search for Adarna's kind, Xaden gets to go with them because, once again, you have two dragons that are madly in love. You can't just, So they go to different islands looking for Adarna's kind, and every single island has a challenge. Now, I don't remember exactly all of them in detail, but I will say one of them beat the crap out of them. Another island, even the Island of Wisdom, had Xaden's mother on it, which is really crazy. And I also forgot to mention that Violet's father wrote her an entire book of, there's like a manual of like where to look, what to do, knowing that she would end up in this situation. And she was able to get the book, and that's what made them go on these journeys. It's all really crazy, and they even get to the point where they do find Adarna's kind, and they were like, there's no way that we're gonna save you. Like, we're not going to take you in as one of our own because we don't believe in war like this, and you have bonded to a rider and believe in war. At the end of the book, of course, there's a war going on, as we know. Stakes are super, super high between Violet, Xaden, all of her friends, and she only has Terran now. It's only her and Terran, which is kind of sad. At the end is the big fight that is all of our heroes versus the Venom, which is so scary because you don't want anybody in this series to end up in any situation that's bad. Adarna is with her people. So you've got Violet and Taryn, you've got all of the friends, you've got Xaden, and honestly, it starts going really bad because nobody realized exactly how important Adarna was. So it becomes really, really bad. And throughout this entire book, the issue that arises is that Xaden is beginning to look more like the Volturi from Twilight. Every time he channels this energy, it makes his eyes turn red. And one of the last times, he had to literally rest for days to be able to recoup and not be red in the eyes anymore. And at the end, well, it's implied that he's fully turned now. But a lot of people also get pissed off at the ending of this book because Violet finds out that she doesn't remember her own wedding day. Her and Xaden are married. And that is all of the series that I remember, which is so crazy. And I've literally been talking for like 20 minutes now. Like, I'm not even kidding you. This might be the longest I've ever taken to record a video. I absolutely enjoyed this series. First book, it was like boom, 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 bang, bang. A little bit of a lull, and then it was really crazy again. Second book, once I got about halfway through, is when it finally picked up momentum. And the third book, honestly, I just enjoyed the third book, beginning to end. I'm not gonna lie, that was my first 5-star read of the year. I loved every single moment of that book. I loved Xaden and Violet. I loved them going to the different islands. Everything about it was just so amazing. So where does this stand for me on my rating scale and all of that? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I went into this series being like, okay, this is my second romantasy series, which is exciting but also scary. What if I hate it? And I quickly realized that Onyx Storm is up there for me with A Court of Mist and Fury. So that is a good sign. That being said, I do think I enjoyed ACOTAR more. But that also being said, there are more books of ACOTAR, including one that's not even out, 2 or 3, maybe 4, that aren't even out yet. But this series is not finished. I've just finished what we currently have. And I'm excited to read the next book. I mean, I really hope I don't get another Iron Flame moment because I do feel like that book felt more fantasy. And for me, once again, because I'm not really the reader that reads for those plot points, it just like wasn't my favorite. But that being said, I'm excited to pick up another one of these books. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the Fourth Wing series. Let me know which were your favorites down below as well, because I'm curious if anybody else like loved Onyx Storm but didn't really like Iron Flame. So let me know. If you guys want to follow me in other parts of the internet, I am Corey's Nail Diary on both Instagram and TikTok. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Bye.